Welcome to the Ordinals Are Dead show. They certainly probably will be after this show. This is our first time. We're just fucking around. This could go horrible or it could go great.
Oh, it's going to go bad.
I hope so. Should we pack it up?
No, I hope so. Like, I honestly think that, like, I want to see in the comments here, this is the worst show we've ever seen. We want to see it again.
I hope so. I hope it sends. Hold on. Yeah, take the shot. He's wearing all black and wearing a wizard's hat. Yeah, that would be good. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
All right, well, that's, I guess, part of the intro. I mean, Troy, like, let's talk about this. Like, who the hell are we, though? You know, who are you?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm like 96 years old. I'm in my prime. Fucking everybody knows I'm an actor, screenwriter from Hollywood. I just got lucky as a, credible, fucking notable performer that I just happened to be in front of computers in 2015 and buying Bitcoin and other coins. And then 2020, I was just like, I invested in this friend of mine several times, and everything I've invested in, like his companies and stuff like that, it's always hit, and he's always on to the next thing. And then I got into crypto art and buying digital assets on the blockchain, and that's all she wrote. What's up with you, bro? Nice to meet you, by the way.
No, great to meet you.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I'm Turk God, brother.
Yeah, I love it. No,
but seriously, go ahead.
Who am I? I guess I've just been like in the crypto space now. I think like 8 years, but like really working full time the past 3 or 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, the past 3 or 4 years.
From Texas, right?
No, I mean, I'm born and raised in Orange County. Right?
That's right. Yeah, we talked about that.
But was in Texas the past couple of years. I'm happy to be back though, and LA has been nice. But no, I mean, I think I've been working in the space for the past 3 or 4 years on basically like every side, NFT marketplace, exchange side, etc. And I've absolutely loved it. And then like more recently, of course, found Ordinals. They're totally dead, but you know, I think months ago fell in love with Ordinals, and it's turned me into like this weird art kind of fiend now as well. So
I love it, man. You're prevalent on the scene. You're dealing with a quadrillion super chief gallery event is going to be. Can we announce that?
Yeah, I mean it's going to happen. I think we haven't announced like details. It's a little bit of alpha, but fuck it. You know
I mean?
Like,
come to LA. November
exactly.
something.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to it, man.
Yeah,
let's talk about the Ordinals market.
What's going on? I mean, what's going on with the market? I think like the past week we saw a rip to 36 or 35K, I think, Bitcoin.
Yes, it did.
Right?
And then
amazing.
It did.
Finally.
And, you know, as we have here, BTC punks rallied out of mostly all of them.
Yep.
And, you know, I had some punks and I actually, you know, sold some way before, like not like a month before this. But I'm curious.
Oh, you didn't make any money on the pump?
I mean, I didn't make any money on the pump, no. The fuck you calling me out for? What is this embarrassment, Troy? No, but seriously, though, I think it's because the floor was very low on these, but everything was low across the board to some extent.
It totally was. I think that there was a lot of dips, right? There was a lot of dips across like every collection, right? I think that like the past 3 or 4 months over the summer.
Yeah,
you know, Ordinals was doing like maybe $300,000 to $400,000 in sort of sales almost daily.
Yeah,
but of course, in comparison to ETH, that's minute. You know, that's
no, definitely. I mean, I think it was still cooking, but you know, most other collections as you have here, like OMB, sold off.
Yep.
But dude, that's a bullish community. We all know.
Oh yeah.
You know, we got some bags over there.
OMB can't be stopped.
Cannot be stopped.
No.
It can't. It's a freight train.
Yeah.
But you said some projects are minting out. Like what do you mean?
So I mean, at least to the first topic there, or just before that, right? I think we saw over the past couple days $4.5 million in volumes.
Yeah.
So definitely a lot more than previously.
Yeah.
But no, projects minting out. There's been a couple projects. 2 on the radar, right? One is I think Trevor's project coming out in a couple days.
Can't
That's
wait.
supposed to be doing well, but also
I'm wearing orange for Trevor's project.
Yeah, I mean, fuck it. I mean,
up,
1 or 2 days ago though was what was it? Quarry's collection, right?
Which one was
I think
that?
it was something Ghost.
Oh, Quarry.
I'm sorry. Yeah, Quarry.
I can't believe.
And that was I think like $700 per, right?
Yeah,
I
it was
think,
0.02.
Yeah, and that minted out pretty quickly.
It did.
So I think that's a good sign, right?
Yeah.
Like there hasn't been that many mints in a long time, and
it's a good sign because it's a very tight community right now. There's no noise. The only noise that we really ever hear is when Casey puts out a blog. And then people go, oh my God, ruffled feathers, and then there's a congregation.
Right. I mean, to that point, like,
unless there's something I'm missing.
I mean, what is this OP Bussy thing?
Bussy?
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
what's up? Okay. So like, this is his blog, right? Or this is more public blog.
So from the Ordinal, I think it's what I know is that if you want anything to be a vagina, you can you can change it to ussy.
Okay,
So
got it.
Casey has a sense of humor. Obviously, like you said earlier, he's going through an arc of some sort of like fun. I mean, it's like my humor. It's most people's humor in this space where you have somebody who is like built this thing for us to proliferate on, and he's saying my nipples are so hard for this episode.
Right. I mean, you get what I'm saying though when I'm saying he's probably going on an arc. You know what I mean? Like it's just these tweets are, you know, a little bit more out of pocket. But I mean, listen, like what else do we want right now?
Yeah, I mean,
I don't want
to call him a founder. I want the creator to talk like that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's sitting there, you know, yesterday during that coding session that was sort of historic, right? I should have videotaped that with Loom and just inscribed it. Of course, it would have been I needed a lot of block space for that, but it was historic because you have like the devs, you got Raph, and then you got Elok on there, who I met in Amsterdam, and just was like,
he's just a wizard.
I just love,
He's a wizard.
He is a wizard. He's kind of just like, you know, I do impressions, but you know, don't get offended, Elok. But he's just kind of like, he was just funny and approachable, and I didn't even know it was him. I was just like hanging out with him until I found out it was him. And anyway, it was historic. It was a tight knit group, but I mean, Casey was ripped to the tits, man. And I was just
that was the one thing I was commenting in there. I mean, like, I didn't know what the hell was going on. I'm not a technical guy, but you know, one thing I was looking at is just like, what's going on with his cooker in the back, and he's got huge muscles.
I don't even know if that's his house. It could be an Airbnb. He could be in flight.
Probably
not a flight risk, but you know, Began was saying. I said, dude, why is he so ripped? How does he have time to get off the euphoria and the addiction off a computer and code? And Began, who everybody knows, or if you don't, you should follow him. He runs the IRL show and on big spaces and stuff like that. But he's a coder. Totally. And he says, no, you work out because you think better and you get a lot of work done. And it clears your mind, and the shit that you couldn't have done on a coding session, you can do. And
if
probably
you're stuck on a bug, go work out. That's all I'm going to say. Keep going.
Yeah. No, seriously. Listen, I've been following his advice as well. No, go work out. Yeah, thank you.
That's Began God from the top the top floor of IRL Alpha. Began God, BitGod, Turk God. What were you saying?
No, I was just saying I've been following Casey for a long time. I've been trying to get back to the gym as well. I know you have. You've been looking bigger and bigger every time I've seen you at IRL. Yeah.
I'm tight, dude. I'm tight. I don't go to the gym. I just do it at home. I'm just like, today I was listening to Quadrillion Space, and that was
fun, huh?
I was doing jumping jacks, doing some burpees.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I don't even have to count. I'm like breathing, and I'm just listening. You and Chief and Quatch. I want to call him like Queef and Crotch. Anyway, so
but no, you know F Dot though, right? I mean,
I do.
Like,
I met
incredible, right?
I met F Dot in Marfa. F Dot, you're a goat. I met
cool.
you outside the bathroom. We were waiting for it. And we bonded, and then and that was about it. And I was like, dude, BitGod was just talking about you the day before, and I'm meeting you by the bathroom.
Man.
And
I really wish I would have went to Marfa, like that. Just the whole. I mean, next year, right? I mean, that was a fumble by myself.
It was magical.
The whole quadrillion team.
It missed you, and you would have had 1,000 new friends.
Yeah.
And I think you make friends pretty easily. What's up, Xanis?
Yep.
What's up, XX? We're just reading the chat here.
I mean, look at this.
If you guys have any questions, if there are hot takes or you want us to, I don't know, dance for you, let us know.
Yeah, no, I mean, getting back to like Marfa and Art and all that sort of stuff. We have another topic here, like parking inscriptions. This is something I think that's been never really seen before on any blockchain, right? To where like you have artists that are like, hey, like this is probably going to be big. I should put my art here early. And they did, right? You saw like Jack Butcher. You saw Rip Cash.
Dude, I did that. I'm not saying I'm Jack Butcher. No, I did that. When Ordinals came out, I think I took, like I want to make it clear here, a lot of people they see my ape on there, and that's been good to me. But like the reason I have that ape, I bought it really low.
Okay.
Like, I bought it like 2 weeks after, 2 weeks after it came out for very little money, and I got it because my dad had died,
wow.
and it has a fez. And no, it's okay. Yeah. He lived a long time. He's 87. He smoked since he was 10. He was a fucking tank. But I got it because I'm a storyteller. Thank you, Tankon. So. So I got it because, I'm into story depth. I'm a creator. I have an animation team. I'm a Hollywood guy. I've been doing it for 30 years. And I do that because it's a floor ape and I'm social engineering with it, right? So what I do in the space is complete.
It's a psyop?
Yeah, it's a psyop. It's completely divorced from any help that I need from anybody else except the people that want to collaborate with me to proliferate. Yeah. What's the point of that? So I took that ape and I took the actual the actual like HD res files that BAYC or Yuga sent to all of us if you requested after mint.
Yep.
And I inscribed that at like 80K just for culture. I'm not selling it. I don't care. It's just like I did it.
Yeah.
And then I inscribed a couple of art pieces I did when I was like 19 or 20 that won some local awards and stuff like that.
I mean, like what level are we talking about though? Is it sub 10K? Is it
sub 70K, sub 80K.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
Just like just for myself.
Well, you're gonna need to pick up the phone, call Raktoshi, sell those things soon.
Raktoshi, send it.
Yeah.
Bamp it.
I mean, talking about Raktoshi, right? The reason why we're even talking about this topic is Raktoshi bought 4 pieces from Ripcash, who is a famous sort of glitch artist. I think the camera piece artist as well. I don't know if that's a specific.
Yeah.
Like, you got like Patrick. You have 808. Like you have so many of these artists that do the 0xDGB.
Yeah.
That do that same sort of style. Right.
They do, and the point is that on ETH or other chains, none of these artists just like mint something and don't list it.
Right.
So, excuse me, burp God. Jesus Christ, this is on.
He's
air.
ready. He's ready for this.
But that is super interesting, and that sale Ripcash did is pretty exciting.
Well, now I'm really interested too of what is Raktoshi going to do with this? Right? Is he now going to sit on it? Right? Or is he going to try and instantly with maybe some sort of hype or eyeballs try and sell it for double that? Or you know what I mean? What
is he going to build a project from it?
Right.
I mean, it's an art thing. I'm kind of guessing it's just a collection for him, because he's early as fuck.
Yeah, he is.
Well,
I had the chance to the pleasure to really chat with him yesterday or 2 days ago, just after the sale happened. He's just generally excited about ordinals. I think he's just like you and I are trying to push ordinals, far as possible or as forward as possible, as quickly as possible. And I think that,
let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
How are you doing that?
I mean, I
see how you're doing it, but some people may not know. How are you thinking?
It's really with Quadrillion, right? I think like my focus is really laser focused on that, and part of that is just making sure that we do right by all of the artists that are a part of anything that we do. And of course, the first, Perpetuals volume is all artists that are making their debut on Bitcoin. And that's the way I see myself. And I think the sort of rest of the company in this sort of movement towards bringing people over to Ordinals. And hopefully that's a signal, right, to many other artists that are wait a minute, I'll think about it. And it's not like, hey, tomorrow they're going to launch something after we mint. It's get them to think about it, right? I think that's what it's really about.
I mean, do you feel like you're proselytizing, or do you feel like you're just opening your mouth because because it's hey, what do you do? Well, I do this on Bitcoin. Oh, that's a conversation. It's not even a shill. It's
no, 100%. I mean, you go back months and months and months ago because I wanted to really test this. I was is this some of the biggest alpha I've ever seen in my life, NFTs on Bitcoin, or am I delusional? And so when I went to Asia, I would chat with a bunch of different people that were, just all in the crypto space. And they were all that's really interesting. I never heard about that. And it wasn't a shill though, right? You were just talking to them and they were instantly intrigued.
Yeah.
And it's just totally different than anything.
So there's kind of an arc for me here too. So I like to, and just in life, I like to do everything. If it's not IRL alpha, what's that? Oh, that's a game? How do you play? Can I play with you guys?
Yep.
Oh, I'm not good at this. And I'll move to the next game or whatever. And so when the Ordinals came out, instantly, I was always trying to mint everything.
Yep.
Not really for bags. It's just I want to be there. I want to be a part of the culture. I never missed a day of school except for chickenpox in 7th grade, for a week. I always wanted to be where the action was. There was no action at my house because everybody was at work, right? So when Ordinals came out, it was mint, this, that. And then we had our own Discord, and we had a whole team, Google Sheeting and Google Docking and scraping projects to be and then handing whitelist out. And then you're meeting the founders, these new founders, and some of them were rugs and they weren't going to do anything with them. And these are in the sub 50K, sub 20K.
Yeah.
It's just sitting there. Some of them are just in my bag, right? Whatever. Yeah. So, and some of them were cheap, so that's fine. What was my point? I had a point. The point is that you got February, March, major extraction and sell-offs. People left. And then you have the residual, then shitcoins came out on ETH and stuff like that. And that was a shitcoin kind of spring. And then I kind of forgot about Ordinals, even though I was still in the ecosystem. And then after shitcoins, I was spent from shitcoins because do I want to be great at what I do as a builder and build community, or do I want to be the greatest shitcoin trader in the world? Yeah. You have to make a decision. You know what I mean?
You really do. And it's it's such a hard balance because it's we all know where the majority of the liquidity is. and at the same time, like, you just enjoy actual art more than you know what I mean?
So my point is, as soon as I got back from shitcoins, it was because I was an art collector before PFPs came out, right? And that was like a new thing, whatever. We don't have to go back there. And when I got back from shitcoins, I was just like focused on art and talking to people about art. And I'm in an art community out here in Venice, IRL Alpha and just legends out here. And you're just like, you do that.
Totally.
And so it became about talking to people and onboarding people, and not by force, just like opening your mouth, man. If the product is good and the product is Bitcoin, and the layer on top of that is Ordinals, that you don't have to really pitch it, maybe to a laser eye that's going to be, lost on death.
But that's fun.
That is fun.
That's really fun.
That is fun. So,
because that's a challenge, right? Like, when it's not a challenge, it's like, well, not that it's like the easiest thing in the world to explain, but still, like, that's a really fun challenge, to get someone that's like so anti,
for sure. And like being my age, and like, just like, I'm youthful, I have childlike sensibility, but like I have experience.
You're 21, right? You just turned
I'm 21.
Yep.
I'm a leap year baby. So, the thing is, okay. So the thing is, I'm relating it to your arc because the beginning of the year when you came out, it was like OXBT. Who's this guy? Fucking, meteoric rise with his Twitter account and whatever. And I literally thought you were a god because of the mystery. It turns out you're just like a fucking cherub. A very, very, very lovable, lovable guy. Who looks like he plays sports. Plays volleyball. Played volleyball in high school or something like that. But the point is that you had this arc where you were like. Didn't leave OXBT because I'm in that community, but you focused on art. And I was like, well, that's what I'm doing because you're doing Quadrillion. And then I have my own big community. And then there's Prism, who has the counterfeit culture.
Right.
And he's been onboarding artists since February. And it's just so connective. Like, all the communities are so connective. We add each other to each other's chats and projects. We don't promise anything except like fucking vibes are apparent. And that's what I like about it. There seems to be a bit of a lot of unity, which I think some ETH projects that I've talked to, that I've actually written for and written their lore for, and that I've been inducing the idea to, or inspiring the idea to build together. You're not the same companies, but it doesn't mean that you can't be arm in arm and do events together and just like be bullish together. And that's what I think Ordinals, the community, has to offer. And it's a good fucking
I think just where it's at right now is very mission driven, right? It's just like everyone I think is understanding of like sort of the mission, which is just like onboarding people because it's so new. Like people are just still hating on it. It's dead. It's, it's blah blah blah.
Well, you got like. Excuse me, I'm talking out of turn here, but you got ZK who wants to onboard, like, I mean, I shouldn't say this, but like there are people that want to onboard tech, core devs and stuff like that, and they're coming in droves. And then you have artists that are like every day that like there are legends, there are unknown future legends, Patrick Amadon put out a tweet just about an hour ago and saying they're not an unknown artist. What's up, Patrick? They're not an unknown artist. You just don't know them.
Right.
I fucking love that. It's a very turnkey phrase. And then you have the core devs and looking for devs. You have like Trevor, who has the Bitcoin fund, and he's looking for tools. You submit and they will fund it. I mean, obviously it has to be vetted and it has to work. And then you have people that want to onboard as many big wallets onto Bitcoin. Totally. There are a lot of big wallets, but they're just mostly on the laser eye maxi hodler side. But please poke a hole in my argument. I don't know.
No, I mean, I think, listen, like, I think we agree too much on this whole topic, so I think we should move on to something that we don't disagree as much on.
Let's go.
I think like, I think in general, right, I think the whole ordinal space is like very mission driven. I think that we're all, at least right now, trying to go in the same sort of place, onboard as many people as possible, whether that's creators, artists, other DGens, whatever it is.
Well, like, who's hurting that right now?
Who's what?
I mean, who's hurting that mission right now? Is it just more like it just takes time?
I think it takes time. I think it takes money, right? Like I talked on a space, I think a little bit ago with Leap and like Trevor and a bunch of others and like Udi as well. And he was just talking about like how infrastructure is really needed right now. But I think one of the main problems is like, to me, you need more risk capital. right? Which is like, you need more venture firms, you need more people that are willing to like, write angel checks, grants. And you just don't have that, right? Like everything that's been done in the past 10 to 11 months.
But there's smart. I mean, there's smart money coming in, but aren't they like?
You need structured capital though, right? Like everything that's happened in the past, 10 to 11 months has been retail. And that's a great thing. But at some point, like, you do need more structured capital that are willing to take risks on, random people building marketplaces or random people building infrastructure.
There are a few that have gotten raises, like, Xverse and then who else did Leather?
And Liquidium and some others. And like,
but that's not enough. I mean, it's a great start.
And like those are great companies, but like, you need a little 25K grant there, 100K grant there to just these companies that like have an idea but need to figure.
So by that math, it seems like that there is I think that like, let's say, I mean, you can be a maxi and be an ordinal a lover, right? Or I think you can. I mean, Isabel said that the other day on a space. She goes, "I'm a maxi, but I love ordinals." I mean, she literally only knew Bitcoin, and she's learning the ETH ecosystem as of like a month ago. Came to Marfa and stuff like that. So she said it on a space, but so she's straddling those two, that bridge, right?
Yep.
But I think it's like, does ordinals and the things that may happen here, especially in the bull, because scammers are going to come in droves, right? That news loves scams, right? So the laser eyes don't want that.
Yeah.
They think Bitcoin is fine without that stuff. But I'm like, how? I mean, if I was a Bitcoin hodler, and I am.
I mean, the thing is like it's we're going to keep putting graffiti on their money, and that's just it.
Let it go, bro. Let it go. No,
I think, listen, I think that these Bitcoin maxis have a valid point. But at the same time, like if they're so in favor of a free market, a fee market as well, then like ordinals is a net positive thing, right? Of course there's going to be scams. There's going to be scams in everything. But come on, like
I mean,
it's helping miners. It's helping.
What other better idea can you? I mean, do you not want?
That's the thing is they don't have any. They just podcast, right? They're doing this, but just all day long.
They don't want to hear it. It's like their favorite political person.
They're not doing Ordinals, right? They're not doing any of that stuff.
Ordinals,
right? They're not doing that. So that's the biggest thing, I think.
Yeah, but like, what other better idea can you maximize it exponentially, a fucking 10x return on your Bitcoin hodl?
Nothing. Maybe rare sats?
I just don't understand why.
Maybe rare sats? Let's go to that.
I mean, you could just hold rare sats, and that's just like a token.
Right. I mean, well, that's the thing, right? This is what I want to get into, right? I put out a couple questions before on the timeline of, do you believe, unique virgin sats or unique inscribed upon sats will be more valuable in the long term, right? This is a really interesting question, right? Because do you believe uncommons without anything on them will be worth more than something with on them?
I mean, it depends.
Yep.
I look at it. I look at it as like looking for a ring for your special partner that you want to marry. Do you want an heirloom, which is valuable because it's been worn by like your favorite great grandmother, grandmother, and passed down, and there's a story there, right? There's 4 generations of story, 3 generations of story. Or do you want a newly constructed thing that's sort of, it's like untethered, or it's been unscathed. It's for whatever you want to do with it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Listen, I think my thoughts are, it's definitely going to depend, but I tend to be in the camp of Elizabeth here. Isabel.
Yeah.
That I think Virgin actually is going to have a run for its money with uninscribed on. So I mean inscribed on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because I think of the different sort of multi-sided use cases here. One is, of course, the speculative narrative.
Yeah.
Where like, people can just trade this now easily with different marketplaces that are popping up. Magisat, right? You met Quarry, Robert Clark, all these guys.
Yeah.
And then you have the second part, which is that people will want to inscribe on this stuff, right? And then you also have the third part, which is like there is actual scarcity to it, right? Just like, of course, common sats, uncommon, black uncommons, whatever it is, they all have scarcity. And so when you have those two-sided use cases there where one person wants to speculate on whether this will be valuable in the future and the other one wants to inscribe on it, I don't know. I think it provides for a really interesting market, right? This is what markets are about.
It definitely does. Nascent is the word that's used a lot now. A lot of people, it's their favorite word of the month, is that, there's a market for it, but the market isn't really correct.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So
I'm confused by it. What do you mean by that, though?
Like, like some people are listing like rare sats higher on some platforms than others. So which one is like, I want to go for the cheaper one. So that's the market for me, right?
Gotcha.
But does that mean it's the capitulated market? You know,
Well, no, I mean, I think that there's still a lot of price discovery happening, right? But I think that you look at over time, like a lot of these uncommon sats were selling for like $250, you know, last month or 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And now they're at half that price or so.
Yeah.
Right. And just like everything else on the Ordinals market, like at least like maybe 50% sell off, right? As well as ETH, as well as anything else, right?
I think there's also the other, you know, the naming of the sats and the meaning of some of these things. Like, you know, like on the space, on an Ordinal space the other day, Dima was talking about birthday sats, you know, because Dima's, he has the Sat Screener project, which is pretty amazing. And what's up, Dima? And like birthday sats, that could be meaningful, right? Anniversary sats, like.
Yeah, I just think like if someone's like out there really looking to buy a bunch of these named sats and they're like, oh, I'm going to flip it to someone else, I think it's going to be incredibly difficult to figure out like what is actually going to be valuable in the future. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like a needle in a haystack, really.
I mean,
you're talking about like hundreds of thousands, millions of names, right?
Yeah.
That, like, you know.
So that begs that there's going to be a lot of doubt in our own ecosystem too. I'm not even talking about the outsiders or the laser eyes. They couldn't give a shit. But I'm saying like, you know,
I tend to agree because I think that, well, I agree and disagree, but I think that the reason I agree is like, there is so much.
You agree with what?
The fact that it's going to get confusing or like it's going to cause a lot of doubt because there's so much you can do.
Yeah.
Sat names, commons, like what do we, you know, how many times do we have to explain ourselves?
And what do you disagree with?
I disagree, I guess, on like the you know, the virgin and you know, and inscribed upon stuff. But we sort of covered that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think just collect, sit back, do what you want. Some people are hunting them, some people are buying them, and some people are using them for their for their projects. You know, but yeah, go ahead, bro. What are we at next?
Yeah, I think we're really back to or on to I think really the main topic, right, which is Ord 0.1.0. This past week was another huge week. I mean, I feel like every single week is huge for the Ordinal space. I mean, like when will it be? When will there be a time where like there's not a topic to cover?
There won't. No, every day. It's.
Well, let me ask you this. This is actually going like even further.
What?
Like, is your thesis that Bitcoin Ordinals becomes just as big, if not larger, than ETH NFTs? In terms of market cap, in terms of activity.
I think in the bull run, I mean, listen, you can't really stop growth. All these other chains are probably going to get lifted a little bit, and there's going to be activity and stuff like that. But it's just since this world has opened up for most of us in this space, and I still buy art on ETH.
Yeah.
I'm not really buying like PFP projects or anything like that. I'm just, just like an artist I want, I'm going to have them in my wallet. But like, I just think I want to build here, and it's just going to be very interesting. Like this year feels like 10 fucking years. Yeah. Like I can't believe how much has happened in this space. It's an everyday growth. Who knows what Casey's going to come up with tomorrow or build on top of the 0.10 or the 0.1.0. But I do love the batching. Like I think.
Are you a batch?
You son of a batch. You little batch.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a big update for people that want to inscribe, of course, multiple inscriptions in one transaction. I think that this is something specifically that Rav, who's in the chat right now, we were just going over a couple hours ago because of the whole quadrillion mint and figuring out the proper minting styles, etc. This in particular is just really interesting, right? Like this is something that I think people have wanted for a long time and are just now getting. And are you guys going to be using this? Have you used it already? Or
I
no?
mean, so today somebody posted, was it Sanj? I don't know. He, somebody went ahead and like batched 5,000 inscriptions in one go. And I was looking at it. It was all text. I didn't read the text, but I was curious as to like what that library or whatever that document or those series of documents were. Seems like they're pretty serious unless somebody wrote a fucking novel and wanted to, but like text, you can put a lot of text on one block. Yeah. But I'm just curious what something like that could have been and what drove that person to do that particular thing. But we haven't decided to use them because it was just like announced yesterday, and we're doing our own thing over at the Ordinals.
Well, that's what I think really interesting is like all of these features that are coming out later. I think a lot of collections early on would have loved to be using this stuff. Right? Like parent-child, I mean, like all of this stuff is so unique, and I think brings a totally different sort of like level playing field to something that we're of course doing.
Okay, this is a great update to say the least. But are we growing? Are we building way too many things?
Oh, I get you.
Like, I think we're just building way too many things, and I don't want to stop. And I think people are trying to build the tools, and they want to be first to market and be like, look what I did. I mean, shit, I'm not a coder, but I know how to do code interpreter, and I'm a great writer, and I can prompt, and you become articulate. But I'm like making little games and inscribing them. I'm making drawing tools, which are fucking awesome.
Right.
No one's asking me for that. Like I'm an extraneous sort of overachiever guy, and that's just so I can imagine the real like core devs or just other devs that are building great tools. But it just seems like it's convoluting. Like you have these rare sats market, and then Batch Inscriptions are very cool, like I said, but like it just seems like it like every day, if you ask somebody to come into the space, they got to do a lot of catching up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're an artist, you don't really have to catch up that much. You can get somebody can onboard you like me or you, but like it's becoming very convoluted. And I'm in it every fucking day.
I guess like the reason I asked that first question, right, of what do you believe?
Can you remind me what you asked?
Yeah, the ultimate thesis here, right, which is do you believe Bitcoin will be, or at least Ordinals, right, will be just as large, if not larger, than the Ethereum ecosystem, right? And like the reason I asked that is like maybe you're right. Maybe you're right, and like that there's just like way too much going on here, and we'll get to a point where it's like, all right, this is definitely not fucking needed. We've added like 40 different things that are just totally useless. No one's used this since the update. But what if we're looking at here, Bitcoin becomes one of the largest ecosystems, or the largest ecosystem in the world, and like it's able to supplant like all of this.
Okay,
we're talking about like trillions of dollars in like rare sats and, and JPEGs. You know what I mean? Like
I believe. Just like how we met and how like things fall upon, in my life in this ecosystem, like we're always here and special things happen because when you show up, right?
Yeah.
And you care to show up and
you make your own luck. You
care to learn. You have no fucking ego. You're not the smartest guy in the room. You shut up and you listen. And then when you want to be the smartest guy because you actually know something because somebody asked you, then whatever. But in this space, I don't think right away it's going to be, but like Bitcoin is a monster.
Yeah.
And I think Ordinals in some way, and all the easy payment transactions that we're going to be able to do and have been doing with like Bitcoin, especially in the future when you can just like scan your eyes and buy something with Bitcoin, or you can be like, oh, I have like these Ordinals I scan my Ordinal, I get into this club. Like I just think there's going to be a certain marriage where it's just going to like unify, where it becomes exponential kind of like usability, transactional. That's the only way I think that it could surpass like. Like I'm not trying to surpass ETH. I'm trying to like build a place where I know it's like, I hate using the word daddy chain, but I feel like when I'm trying to talk about Bitcoin without using the word Bitcoin, that I have to like pull teeth to talk about like, I just built a new product and it's not a new product. I mean, Ordinals are, but not the chain for which they,
I mean, I think that like a lot of this stuff could be seen as it's just like too much. Like, are we doing too much? I think I get what you're saying there. But, like, what if this is just setting the proper base up for, one of the biggest or the biggest ecosystem we've ever seen in crypto? Like, it's just a sleeping giant that's just been sitting there for so many years. Like, please just build on me. You know what I mean? Like, Bitcoin's just, like, screaming, like, please.
I think Bitcoin, like,
you know what I mean? While we all, like, took our Bitcoin and we hodled it for a little bit, we're like, this is fucking boring. I'm going to ETH now.
Here's what I think. So let's say, if you're like an alcoholic, right?
Okay.
So like the alcohol that's sitting on the table, it's just sitting there in a bottle. It didn't do anything, has no emotions, does not give a fuck about your life.
Right.
It's how you react to it. I think Bitcoin is the same way.
Yeah, it's math, right? It's just sitting there. It's there, right? It's been confirmed.
So the laser eyes they are purist about how they want to feel about its usability and what it should mean to them and what it should mean for the world and how it could subsist for them.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what you think because you can't control that.
Yep.
Like life, like Jeff Goldblum says in Jurassic Park, like let Bitcoin find a way, and it will find a way, or the people will help find a way. So like that, I'm a big proponent of, and I'm just like, let's just try things.
Yeah.
Let's just try things. But like, what do you hate about the space? What do you hate about what's going on in for Ordinals? Is there anything to be hated upon?
Oh yeah, I think there's a ton to hate on. Like I think that there's a lot of people that are just sort of like waiting for the right time or the perfect time to like launch their collection or whatever it is. And like I get it, right? I get that like you want to be strategic and tactical, but at the same time, like there is, in my opinion, there is no perfect time. Right? There's never going to be a perfect time. If you're like, all right, I'm going to wait for the bull, that just means there's going to be like 100 more projects you're going to have to compete with for attention for or whatever. You know what I mean? So like there is no perfect time. And I think like that's one thing. Second is like there was a lot of projects.
I mean, that's a good time like to ride the bull. Like you could just like, you could take a picture of a toilet and
but
be
like, let me ask you this. Like, do you remember go back to like 2021, 2022? Like who was there? Like, oh, I'm just going to wait for the right time. Like in 2020.
No.
Like in 2020, like who was there on ETH? Like, oh, I got this like 10K collection. I'm just gonna sit on. No, like they started it in like 2 or 3 weeks, and they're like, fuck it, we're gonna launch it, right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And like all those people that like waited and waited and waited, I feel like they just died. Like, I don't know. So that's that's my view.
That happened. I was a part of a couple of projects that happened to, and we never launched. And it was like a 15-month wait. And we're just like building and building. What are you building? You know what I mean? You're fucking selling pictures, you know? So
that's how I feel about that. That's what I get pissed. Is like I hear in people's DMs, I hear on Spaces. Oh,
but what else in this space? Are there anything else in this space like like Alpha? You know, Alpha is like the new friend tech and stuff like that.
Yes, okay, I got you.
Like that could like the SocialFi thing for Alpha. It's sort of been growing, and I've been watching it. You know, like I'll be honest,
on there, yeah.
I'm on there whenever like that.
Okay.
And I don't try to like really build. I have some friends on there and stuff like that. But the concept is good, friend tech, all these SocialFi things, but like, is that, and people are allowed to build, you do what you want, I guess, whatever. But like, are we going to have some bad news where it's going to be media stricken and they're going to be like, oh, there's more scams going on there, and people are dumping, and it's just another fucking thing that failed, and like something like that? Is that like a bad thing? I mean, are you thinking that helps the space? I mean, I think traders are good, flippers are good. I mean, it keeps things healthy.
Yeah.
But I mean, like what isn't pushing it forward and what is?
I mean, I don't know that is like really pushing it forward because it's, I mean, a number of different things. Like it's on like a Bitcoin L2. That's, I guess, even like confirmed by Polygon though. I'd have to look into it more, but I believe Bob Bodley, shout out Bob, he's done a huge breakdown of what, you know, a new Bitcoin city and like Alpha really is and how it's built and all that sort of stuff. And it's some sort of like roll up, but that's one thing. So it's like, it's kind of Bitcoin, but not really. You got to bridge in, right? And then second is, I think my thesis on a lot of this stuff is I'm not sure it really pushes it forward. Like it seems more like a social psyop than it does, you know, really be like SocialFi.
Yeah.
And here's why. I think because the premise for me is like and this is sort of like a mean thing, but like, are we really worth that much money? Right?
No.
Like you go to like friend tech and like people are worth like 10 ETH just to go into their chat.
Yeah.
Are you worth that much?
No.
I don't think so. Even for myself, right? Like that's my point.
I think it fucks me up because the thing is like, you know, I have some holders and a lot all of them I know, and I don't ever want to sell because I feel bad because I'm a good fucking person,
right,
to like dump on you. And it's just like a weird psychological thing. So it's really like something I'm not fully interested in. But by that token, can I buy your placeholder keys? Are you
go ahead. No, go ahead.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's a sell.
I mean, you know,
that's a buy. It's a buy signal.
I think just in the past like 3 or 4 weeks, I've probably been bombarded with like 50 different messages of like, please join, use my link to join. Because, you know, they get their referral fees, of course. So they know what they're doing.
They get 20%. I think. Yeah. My friend is getting 20%. I don't want to shout him out.
Yeah. But listen, like that's my current thesis. If it changes, then you know, I don't know. Maybe I'll join. But
so like, what is the leading thing besides like obviously tooling? Tech. We have that taken care of. Like it's not fully taken care of because every day there's patchwork to do, right? But I'm just a buzz about art. Like, what do you? I mean, obviously you're doing quadrillion, but like, is that the thing that's going to take? I mean, people are talking about art is the meta currently. Yeah, generally speaking, in like the ETH communities and stuff like that. But you know, the people in our IRL community here in Venice, the majority of people that come here have only bought art.
Yeah.
have only bought art. So like, what is this bullshit that it's the new meta? I mean, it could be a trending meta, but like, I just think it's very.
I think that there's like, I think like just history, of course, repeats itself, right? And like we saw like art be, I guess, the meta years ago.
Yeah.
And then it moved into like PFPs, but I think that has been played out so much that like maybe people are like, oh, like PFPs are no longer a thing. Let's go back to the art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a focus on the art.
Yeah,
and like I think you see that in like some collections like OMB, right? On Ordinals, like they're not like, I consider them more, you know, necessarily like art than they are really PFPs in some sense, because they're all one of ones.
Yeah.
Right? There's none that are the same. And I think that you're probably going to see, at least on Bitcoin, a lot of that. Right, a lot of like one of ones, or a lot of like, you know, something that looks similar, but it's a lot of different stuff. So
did you so when I think of PFPs, I think of like what we used to have as royalties. Did you see? I wish we had this up. Did you see Nakib's project Ordinals Are?
Yes.
Did you see the thing about?
I haven't
like,
seen what you're talking about, but I know Ordinals Are.
Like there's like royalties now, possibly. Like,
okay.
What do you think about that? I love Nakib.
This is such a hard question.
I know, but like fucking let's hit it.
Let's hit it. Yeah, I mean, what I believe, or so what I think about royalties is they should not be enforced. I think that it should be some sort of like social consensus mechanism, right? And I think like I even talked to Rosenbaum a little bit about this the other day. But like, what do we have in the chat here?
No, I wasn't tuning out from you, but like I love our friends over here. Ravenous, yes, we see your chat. I think Xanis said it earlier. Xanis said that Xanis is a coder. He said that he never has to work out because his coding is what? Tight? Would you say? It's always fucking good. Xanis is the best.
Yeah, and then Rav just talked about like, and obviously like I work with Rav on a day-to-day basis. Like he's a killer, so you know he knows what's going on.
Yeah,
but like
Rav, you want that fudder? You want that? He's smart though. That's why.
No, he's a smart MFer. So, he's gonna be in LA in a couple weeks. So you know, like I think here the thing is if you go against, or I'm sorry, if you enforce royalties,
it
actually goes against sort of Casey in some sense, and his handbook about digital artifacts.
So how do projects like say like I mean like how does a fucking Ordinal project say with 300 in their collection, like besides OMB, like there is an underground, you feel the engine of the mission, you know it's already like taken care of. People wouldn't fly across the country to go to Amsterdam to not want to be at an OMB event, especially the first one ever. So like few now, many later, hopefully. So but the question is, how does a project keep building and scale over time in Ordinals?
I mean, like, I think that this is what will probably become the meta, right? If someone figures that out. I think there's...
Because right now, projects like us, we're giving out things for free. We literally have given, you know, we have a small collection of 269. You know, and my partners, we minted in January like half the collection because we knew the fact we didn't get any signals. We were just in Discords and we're like buying everything and we love the project. And then we took it over, and then some of those assets, curating people like you and people that I know, just feeling them out. Amsterdam, I go, oh, these guys are like, you know, I try to find, like, I don't need 1,000 friends. I don't need a bunch of friends, but like friends are important. If you don't have friends, you don't build shit. You don't start to build shit with people you don't know.
No, but let me ask you this. It's the
same thing with the community, though. Go ahead.
This is a really interesting question.
And
like,
don't ever interrupt me again.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, but I mean, what is like? Do you believe just having royalties ensures a success of a project?
No, I just found it interesting as to why Nakib, love you Nakib, that like, you know, he's well respected. Like why that is important for today.
Well, yeah, I mean, Gamma has royalties as well. So you know, Nakib's not.
What's the percentage on Gamma's royalties?
I think 2.5% is the max.
Okay, better than what used to be on. I mean, you know, they were high on.
Yes, but of course the problem is, right, like, you know, they need more volumes there, right, for of course that royalty to make sense. But no, I mean, really, like that's my question to you, I guess, is like you know, does royalties ensure a project success? And like, I just don't think so. I just don't, right?
No.
Because like, go back to 2020, 2021, 2022, all those projects that had killer royalties, right? Like made millions on royalties. What are they doing today? A lot of them are dead. Right? Some of them are still around, right?
And a lot of them ran with the money and they built other shit.
Yeah, and so I think like where we're at right now is it's really forcing people to seriously think about like either what is the next meta, right?
Yeah.
Or like how can I sustain this company with the limited things we have or limited resources we have. This is not an abundance market, right?
No, personally. I want to go to, so Ravenous is saying, on Ordinals without centralized custody, I don't see how it ever works. I guess if all the marketplaces force it via buy now, but someone will always counteract it, right?
Yes.
I'm trying to see. I think it actually is the opposite. If teams think they can rely on royalties as a revenue stream, they never build a real stream. And it always begs the question for me, and this is the first time probably anybody's heard about this, except a couple people in my space, like art tokens, right? That like funding like through a DAO in the project, like the artists that you have in your community or a community of artists that like have a token that sort of like subsists, you know, using like runes or something like that. I know runes, we haven't figured that out yet and it hasn't really been, you know, they've been minted, but things like, what else is there? We were talking about RGBs and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think, you know, you have OXBT, right? That's a token, right? Yep. And now you have Quadrillion.
Yep.
They're separate companies.
They're separate things.
But now we can use OXBT to be able to get some, like through whitelist, kind of like a tiered system to be able to buy.
Yeah.
So like that's what I'm talking about. That to me seems cool, but you probably didn't think about that when you started OXBT.
Well, no, I mean when I first started it, like there was always a goal of doing art.
Yeah,
that was like I had never had any intentions of doing a game, you know, a DeFi protocol. None of those intentions, right? It was definitely going to be something on the art side. What it was going to be though was like more memeable, stupid characters, right? Like little cartoon animals that we see. And I think what ultimately happened, right, is things got a lot more serious.
Yeah.
Right. Like you know, ended up, you know, gaining, you know, some sort of following, etc. And it was like if we put this out, we're just going to be laughed out of the room. Right?
Yeah.
And so like I think from there you really had to make some pivots of like, all right, like what's the thesis here? If you know, cartoon animals, you know, and again like a 10K PFP are not the meta or not what we should be doing, like what is? And I think that we came to the conclusion with Quadrillion. So I think like people are now forced, and I think like Rav is talking about in the chat, like companies, people, right? People that are thinking about starting projects, you're forced to seriously think about like, how am I actually going to make money instead of, I got royalties, I can chill, you know, I can chill for a little bit and like let the secondary do its thing and I'm still going to reap my rewards. It's just not the case anymore. It's just not the case.
You got some great founders here. Like, you know, you got Toastia with BTC Wells. Yep. That's a great looking project, right? 10,000. It's always being traded because it's like low cost, whatever like that. Like, and that guy, you know, we love him. I know his background. I know what his family, you know, is. I'm not going to say this, you know, but
just crazy.
Like,
you know?
yeah. And then you have like Bitcoin Bandits. We love Parma.
Bitcoin Booze, right?
Bitcoin Booze.
We have Butoshi coming on the
definitely
panel later.
one. You know, because Boo is coming tonight. He's going to be on the regular panel. I'm like, Boo should be on the show.
Yeah.
Sitting right there and yelling at us like the 21-year-old mastermind that he is.
He's just crazy, right? They just released their AI stuff. Like, I don't know, man. Like these founders on Ordinals, I think, are seriously built different.
Yeah.
You including.
Thank you, man. Yeah. I'll never stop. I'm gonna outlive you kids.
Should we look to sort of like wrap up here in a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
You know, close out on a couple topics. Maybe,
yeah, sure.
Maybe you know, Ordinal's handbook is now in multiple languages.
Yeah. You know, you could put just about anything on. Like, if you're doing like, you can do that. But yeah, we can talk about that.
I mean, I just said it was kind of funny, right? I mean, not that it's funny, right? Like, not that it's in multiple languages is that funny.
I mean, I like this teleburning your worthless ETH NFTs.
Yeah,
things.
I mean, might as well, right?
Are
you doing that?
No. So a couple
you
years.
Better.
I want to do that.
Okay. Yeah,
I want to do that.
I'll make sure.
When you say worthless, do you mean the ones that you can't sell because like they're $1?
Everything.
Like
everything.
Okay, so check it out. So like
including your apes too.
So like I'm building an animation show with like a studio with that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll let you keep that one.
Yeah, well, I'll let you, okay. You don't buy anything on ETH? You don't buy any art on ETH?
No, not anymore.
So if you went to Marfa, you wouldn't have minted a beef broth co?
Oh, I would have.
Okay, so you would have bought something on ETH.
And I do want to squiggle too.
Okay.
But I want to teleburn that. Like, if I get it, I want to teleburn it ASAP.
Let's fucking do that. Can we do a teleburn next week when we do this fucking show?
Let's do it. I think we should.
Oh, I mean, look, listen, our first fucking show. Give us a fucking break.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, you got a fucking historical actor who's been on shows, and he doesn't even know what he's doing on this show, right? So, no,
I mean, I'm just a frog on the internet. You're Troy. You're D's nuts on the internet.
You had the, okay, so... I have to say, a few days ago, there was that like weird meta, not weird, but like little me versus big me. And I think you ended it all with, dude, it was I like laughed out loud.
Oh, did you really?
Must be, yeah.
I thought it was stupid.
I think you have fucking comedy chops. You said little me, you had a little frog, and then you had your BitGod thing. I was like, that wins.
Here's the thing is, I think I'm kind of retarded, but like when you
can't say retarded.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But I'm learning. This is the first show.
Our new project is called Retardinals. I'm sorry.
No, but something
that's terrible.
Something I saw on yours, on your feed was.
We'll be back after 2 minutes. Thank you very much. Let's end that.
I know. But you obviously like put out something. What the other day it was like punk rock.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was hilarious. I'm like, dude, like that is funny.
Dude,
like you come up with that stuff like quick, and I'm like, I could have never thought about that.
If anybody's wondering, nobody fucking cares, but if anybody fucking is wondering, I'm the fucking champion at this thing. So the thing is, when I'm on, I used to be on Instagram a lot. I would follow and put notices on for like big accounts like Fat Jewish and like Moist Buddha.
Yep.
And when you put notices on, they pin your comments top 3 if you're quick. If you're quick and you read if you read the post, you have to be ironic, fast, and quick and post. And then when you usually are, I would get pinned a lot. So I just always had a quick mind. Began, our Began God over here, he has a quick mind. And so
I did the same exact thing. Like so part of the strategy was like reply guy, right? I still have it, right? I have notifications on for like artists, collectors. And my goal there is to be the first and funniest comment.
Yeah.
That's really the goal. Because you get the most interactions, impressions, likes.
To me, it's a fun competition. Like I'm not trying to like always win, but I always will praise like you're funny. Like I'm a funny guy, but like if you're funny, I'm like it's your birthday. You're fucking funny. Let's partner. Let's fucking collab. Like that's what it's about for me, and that's how we all fucking win. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that sort of closes out the show. I mean, like, what do we want to do for an outro here?
No, that's
This is Ordinals Are Dead, right? I think that this is the first show.
It's going to happen every Thursday. Tell them.
Yes. Every Thursday, Ordinals Are Dead. The dawn of the Ordinals Are Dead. The dawn of the dead. The Ordinals Are Dead show will be back. And even better.
I think at what time? We're gonna push for 4 p.m. PST?
4 p.m. PST Los Angeles time.
Yes.
That's 7
every single Thursday, 4 p.m. PST. Be there or you're not cool.
IRL Alpha, and now this show is literally the reason why BitGod will not move out of LA. I just want you to know the fucking Alpha
forced me to stay now.
Is not
crazy.
The Alpha isn't necessarily BitGod. It's what has fucking been created in this historical studio called Budman's here in Venice.
Yep.
And I couldn't be happier. It's
IRL Alpha is
the Alpha.
Yeah.
It's the Alfalfa. Eat your fucking sprouts. Love you guys. Take care. I'm out.
Eat your Scordinals or eat your Sproutnals.
Retardinals minting very slowly. That's terrible.
We're out.
We're out. Take care.
Man.